The NBA trade deadline has finally arrived. A lot of trades have been made ever since that day. I know a lot of basketball fans were hyped for this specific day because I know a lot of teams want to improve, and I know a lot of fans want improvement from their teams via trades and a lot of other roster movements just so that they can get better come playoff time. There are some teams though that are not even looking to make the playoffs this year because some of them are in the bottom of their respective conferences. Teams like the Pistons, Wizards, Blazers, and Spurs, because most of these teams right now are on rebuilding mode and they want to get better for the very future. But there are other teams that are in the race for contention, and there are teams like the Denver Nuggets that want to continue contending. They want to defend their title. The current defending champions of this year were the Denver Nuggets, and their opponent was the Miami Heat, the team I'm playing for right now. And speaking of this is the game where we got Duncan Robinson back from injury. He had another injury that he sustained a couple of games ago. I wasn't able to record them because I was lacking in content nowadays because I had a PC that wasn't working for some reason. But luckily I found an alternative. I was recording using my laptop, which is a lot slower in process, but it still works regardless. And Bam Adebayo for MyCareer has been shooting a lot of threes. In real life, Bam would never do that. He'd always settle for the mid-range, and the funny part is, he even has potential to be a sharpshooter for a center. It's just that he's just content on staying inside. And honestly, stretching the floor would be a big plus for his offensive bag because he's the Heat's only all-star this year. Butler could have been an all-star if he wanted, but he didn't want to because he wanted to take a lot of rest and he was injured a lot, so it is what it is at this point. I want to talk about the All-Star Weekend in one of my next videos because the All-Star Weekend is nearing up. I'm going to discuss about the rookie challenges and my predictions on it, the three-point contest and the slam dunk contest. But for now, since this is a video about trade deadlines, as Jimmy Butler posterizes Kevin Durant, I'm going to talk about one of the earliest trades that have been made, and which is by the Miami Heat, as Bam Adebayo posterizes Daniel Gafford. Actually, this is really funny because in this game, I was wondering how was Daniel Gafford in the Phoenix Suns, and in one of the next games, you'll see why. But for now, I'm going to switch topics. I'm going to discuss the Miami Heat trading Terry Rozier for Kyle Lowry in a deal with the Charlotte Hornets. I feel like trading for Terry Rozier, the Heat actually have someone better as of right now. I know Kyle Lowry has playmaking, but he's getting older, so the trade has to be for the best. They got Terry Rozier, who is a lot younger, has better shot creating, and has tons of playoff experience, a lot of them being with the Boston Celtics during the Brad Stevens era. Brad Stevens has got to be among the most underrated coaches at the time, and right now he's among the best general managers in this league right now. And I'll tell you one of the trades that the Celtics made recently, and one of them is the trade for Xavier Tillman. And in my opinion, Xavier Tillman is an upgrade for the Celtics center unit. I know they have Kristaps Porzingis and Al Horford, but I think playing Xavier Tillman for the Celtics would be a lot beneficial for Al Horford, as he's also getting old, and Horford, his time is almost running out in this league. Tillman may not be a great sharpshooter, at least compared to Horford or Porzingis, but he can actually shoot the threes occasionally. he can make them if you leave him wide open too much in the corner. Like, he can stretch the floor a bit, and he can play a bit solid defense. He's not an elite rim protector by any means, but he's as solid as a backup 5. That should help Horford play the power forward more. Brad Stevens, every move in this league right now in terms of roster construction, it shows that even if a team is looking to contend or are in contention mode right now, there is still room for improvement. Like, every playoff team has holes that need fixing, but the thing is, whenever you would want to find problems that you want to fix, one move isn't enough to fix all of them. Like, let's say you make a move that can fix your rebounding issues, but the issues with perimeter defense and spacing in the offensive end is still there. And this brings me to the next trade that I'm going to discuss, which is the Thunder trading for Gordon Hayward from the Charlotte Hornets. They sent Trey Mann, Vasilij Micic, Davis Bertans, and from what I can remember, they sent 2 more draft picks to the Charlotte Hornets, all for Gordon Hayward. And now Gordon Hayward, I feel like it's going to be a great fit for the Oklahoma City Thunder for this year. The Thunder may be tied for the #1 seed, or actually wait, the Denver Nuggets just won against the Lakers a while back, so they're tied for the 2 seed, I believe. So the Thunder, they want to make improvements, but the thing I need them to make improvements on is the big man. And before I discuss this trade any further, just going to show you the leading voters for the All-Star game. I'm leading all Eastern Conference guards in votes right now with above 2,700,000, and here are the ones for the West. And next up, we're going to play against the Sacramento Kings. I'm just gonna try and pass it to Jimmy Butler, who has De'Aaron Fox in him right now. We run a cut 23 for Butler. Look, he has a mismatch. He just pushes Fox out of the way, and he does a reverse dunk. We were actually off to a 10-0 start against the Kings. I'll show you just in a bit. And going back to the Thunder trade. So, as I said a while ago, they need improvement on the rebounding assets, because let's say Chet Holmgren, he still has ways to go. He's 7 feet, he can shoot the 3, he has guard-like skills, but even guys like Chet Holmgren, who is among the rookies in the Rookie of the Year race, he still has ways to go to become an elite big in this league. The big man is one of the toughest skill sets to gain in the NBA these days. There are times where your role is to set screens a lot, whether it's on ball or off ball screens, just to get your fellow teammates wide open from the perimeter or in the paint. Backdoor cuts, almost every asset. And it's one reason why guys like Kevon Looney, who is a key role player for the Warriors in their championship runs, he knows how to play his role. And in the playoffs, you're going to need elite role players. Players that are content on playing their roles just to help their team win games, win a lot of games. You need 16 wins just to win the championship. And 16 wins in the playoffs is not an easy fit, because in a playoff series, you're going to play the same team and you have to win 4 games just to advance to the next round or even win the championship. And speaking of rebounding, the Dallas Mavericks acquired Daniel Gafford from the Washington Wizards in exchange for Richaun Holmes and draft compensation. And that's not the only trade that they made. They also made a trade with the Charlotte Hornets They got PJ Washington, and they traded Grant Williams, Seth Curry, and a first round draft pick going there. So basically Seth Curry is playing for his hometown Charlotte. He's from North Carolina, like his brother Steph Curry. And the getting rid of Grant Williams is a trade that for some reason makes a lot of Dallas Mavericks fans very happy. A lot of Mavs fans dislike Grant Williams, and they feel like he duped them, because when he was playing with the Bucks, he was actually really solid. He was playing good defense at the post. He was making his threes sometimes, but even in the finals, there were times where Grant Williams was just not a factor on offense at all, and it's just not something that can be sustainable in the long run. And it's been proven by the time the Celtics went to the finals back in 2022, because Grant Williams and Peyton Pritchard, they scored as many points in Game 7 versus the Bucks compared to the entirety of the NBA Finals. And the finals with the Warriors and Celtics, they lasted for 6 games. So basically, Williams and Pritchard scored as many points in 6 games than in a Game 7. And it has to be very embarrassing for the Milwaukee Bucks. And these weaknesses for the Bucks became even more apparent the next year, because they lost to the Heat, the team I'm playing for right now, in 5 games. And the harsher part is, the Bucks were the 1 seed. The Heat also lost the playing game last season against the Hawks, and the Bucks still couldn't get it done. It is very embarrassing. And speaking of the Bucks, they traded Robin Lopez to the Kings, and they were able to obtain Patrick Beverley from the Sixers in exchange for Campaign. Honestly, not playing Robin Lopez for the Bucks much in the season is almost a failure, because I don't know how effective Bobby Portis is playing the small ball center. He's much better suited as a power forward, but then you had to get something done because Lopez wasn't going to get minutes anyway compared to his brother Brook, because Brook is the better 3-point shooter. Robin Lopez is just the lower version of Brook, but you had to make whatever trades you can. Patrick Beverley is actually someone the Bucks actually need, because the Bucks defense is actually very bad this year compared to the years with Mike Budenholzer. And speaking of defense, if you've watched this Kings game, we scored 70 plus points in the first half. And to be honest, it is very like the Kings to play that way. They play fast-paced offense, but their defense is subpar. And this is one reason why there are a lot of doubters for the Sacramento Kings to contend, because of their lackadaisical defense. And it's funny because Mike Brown, their coach right now, is known for having great defensive setups. Pacers got rid of Buddy Hield. They traded him to the Sixers for Korkmaz, Marcus Morris, and 3 second-round picks. And the Pacers also waived Korkmaz because they got Doug McDermott, because the Spurs traded him there. I think that's one of the reasons why they traded Korkmaz, because McDermott and Korkmaz play almost exactly the same way. They don't want any redundancies, the Pacers, because they have elite ball handler in Tyrese Halliburton, and they just got Pascal Siakam. And Siakam is going to help the Pacers a lot as well. Buddy Hield could help the Sixers, because I know he's a better shooter than Korkmaz, but we don't know for sure, because Buddy Hield somehow has no playoff appearances just yet, and it's his 5th season. And one of the important trades that I also have to mention, the Knicks and the Pistons. The Pistons sent Alec Burks and Bojan Bogdanovic to the Knicks for Quentin Grimes, Malachi Flynn, Evan Fournier, Archie Nakano, and several second-round picks. Game against the Wizards, I get one of these 12 steals that I'm going to get. I'll show you at the end of the game. I broke the steals record, which was made by Kendall Gill. You'll see it by the end. And the Pistons, this is also coming from a trade where they got Simone for Takio from the Jazz. And then they also traded Monte Morris to the Minnesota Timberwolves. I feel like the trade for Monte Morris to the T-Wolves is a win for Minnesota, because who is going to be the backup for Mike Conley? Jordan McLaughlin has the ability, but his lack of shooting, well, inconsistent shooting is not going to be helpful for the T-Wolves when they go deeper into playoffs. And right there, here's another steal from me. Speaking of the Utah Jazz, the Raptors and the Jazz also made a trade just recently. The Raptors traded Otto Porter, Kyra Lewis for Kelly Olynyk and Ochai Agbaji. The reception for that trade is actually funny. A lot of fans are saying, the Raptors and Jazz, why are they making those trades? Do they not have any idea what they're doing to their future of the teams? Because the Jazz, let's face it, the Jazz are making their way to the play-in right now. They have a great team, they have a good coach, they have one of the best off-ball players in the NBA in Lauri Markkanen. His ability to score in low usage rate has to be studied. It is among the best in the league. And the Raptors also just traded Dennis Schroeder for Spencer Dinwiddie. And Dinwiddie doesn't even want to play for the Raptors. I was like, why? What are the Raptors doing? Who's going to back up Emmanuel Quickley? And Quickley, well, his role for the Knicks, it's been very inconsistent at best. He's already got a stable one, but the problem for the Raptors now is, who's going to back him up? Are they like expecting Scotty Barnes to increase his ball handling duties? Well, Scotty Barnes just became a injury replacement all-star this year, replacing Julius Randle. And I know that Joel Embiid is currently injured. He's not going to be able to play in the All-Star weekend. And from the knee injury news that he's been getting, some of the players or even fans are speculating that this could be season ending. But the organization for Philadelphia is not bringing out the specifics as of right now. But for what I know, it's going to be a tough way back for Joel Embiid to come back. Here's my head steal. This gave me a triple-double for this game. And some of the players that were expected to be traded ended up not being traded. DeJounte Murray stayed with the Atlanta Hawks. Here's me stealing it from Nurkic. He's the guy that got traded for Daniel Gafford in the Suns game. Bruce Brown is staying with the Raptors. And last but not the least, Kyle Kuzma, who's playing for the Wizards, the team I broke the steals record against, is staying with the Wizards as well. He's not gonna get traded. The Wizards are honestly incompetent in their rebuild as well. They don't even know what they're doing, almost like the Jazz and Raptors, but they're absolutely the worst. Here's my thoughts on all of the trades that have gone down in this trade deadline. I need to know what are your thoughts on the trades that your team has made. Let me know in the comments. And before I end, just wanted to say, whoever is celebrating Lunar New Year this year, Happy Chinese New Year to you all, and Happy Year of the Dragon. Stay safe out here. Come on, I steal it from Devonte Graham. Oh, Bam Adebayo! He just posterizes Victor Wembanyama on that alley-oop. Let's run that replay again. That was nice. Look at that.